Okay, the practice problems. So I'm not sure how long these are going to take. I haven't worked through them yet myself. Might need to do 2 videos, but let us get started. So, as I said in the videos, I went through the book and I made practice problems for all of the types of problems that they had in there. So there'll be an example of how to do one here in this, and then you'll be able to do the actual homework after working your way through this. So the first one, really simple. We need to calculate the profits on these different kinds of investments. And I've filled in the table already. So let's just go ahead and fill in the values over here in Excel. So we have an original cost of 300. We sold it for 360. There were no dividends. So if we calculate the profit, we define the profit as all the future cash flows. So let's build our Excel equations such that when that dividend column is not 0, we don't have to change the equation. So we say it's going to be the sales price plus the dividends, close the parenthesis, and then minus the original cost. So we can eyeball that and see that it's 60. Enter the 60 over here, and that's right. Okay, I'm going to pause the video now and go ahead and fill in the rest of those, because this is not the kind of thing that you need to spend a ton of time watching me do. Okay, so putting it on pause. Okay, so here is that table completed. Again, you can apply the same equation to each of the different situations. So that was trivial, but you get credit for doing it, so go for it. What you need to do next is calculate a percentage return. So in order to calculate a percentage return, as you remember from the lectures, you take and divide the profit by the original investment cost, right? So the percentage return is the profit divided by the original cost. So I've left this formula in column F of my spreadsheet because the profit calculation is going to be the same for all of these new situations. So let's just go ahead and fill in the top line. Okay, so we calculate a profit of 30 here, so now we got to figure out what percentage 30 is of the original. So remember from the lecture that the key to figuring out your return percentage is that you have to remember that your denominator is your original investment costs. So it's 30 divided by the original, or 0.05, which is 5%. Let's format this so that it's showing us in percent. And that's correct. All right, and let's just make sure that these percentages show us 2 decimal points, because that's what the homework package is asking for. Okay, so I'm going to do the stock one again for you, and then I'm going to pause the video after that. So we bought a stock for 27, we sold it for 34. There was a $4 dividend, giving us an $11 profit, and so our return there was 40.74%, which is a nice return. Okay, so now it's time to pause it, and I'll be back again at the end of this problem. Okay, so you see this was pretty straightforward as well. I mean, it's just applying the same formula. I should note that while I was doing it off camera, I made a typo in my bond original cost, and that gave me a wrong answer. And so, you know, when you see a wrong answer with these things, I'm sure you know this already from 3 semesters now of doing these self-graded homeworks. But make sure that you know, before you drive yourself crazy, that the problem isn't just, you know, inaccurate data entry, which, again, not to beat a dead horse, is why Excel is so much better than doing these by hand with a calculator. Okay, next question. Okay, the next one. So this is our baseball card example, and what I've done is just emptied out my little table here, and gonna, because the profit and return calculations are the same, but then we're gonna have to do some additional calculations after this, right? So we originally purchased the rookie card of Hammer and Hank Aaron for 20 bucks. So the investment is a card and the original cost is $20. The selling price is 120. And so the return, the holding period return is 5%. Or I'm sorry, 500%, 5 times. Okay, so that's easy. So now the simple annual return. Right, so he got, he 5 times his money. He quintupled his money, 500% return. How much was that return on an annual basis, though? So let's see. Our holding period was 4 years. Right, so the return was this 500% divided by 4. Okay, and that is not giving it to me in percents, so let's make it a percent. And note that I'm making sure that I have the 2 decimal points, because with these calculations it can get a little sketchy. So this is 125%. Great. All right, so now what's the effective annual return? Now, the effective annual return, right, instead of just dividing up your total return by the number of years that you're holding it, the effective annual return assumes that you're compounding interest. And so you're reinvesting. And so if you were reinvesting and reinvesting, to get a total return of 500%, you wouldn't have had to get as much interest at the beginning. So your effective annual return is going to be less than your holding period return. Now here is the equation. It's 1 plus the holding period return raised to the 1 over n, the number of years, minus 1. Okay, so let's see if we can model that in our in Excel. So it's 1 plus the holding period return to the power of 1 over the number of years minus 1. So let's just lay out each piece so that we can simplify our formula as much as possible. So our HPR is this 500 number up here, and our N is the number of years, and we don't want that to be 8%, then we just 4, and then let's calculate 1 over n as well, because that becomes our exponent. Okay, so n, and that's 1 over 4 is 0.25. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see if we can get this calculation to work. So equals 1, parentheses, 1 plus 500%, close the parentheses, to the power of 1 over n minus 1. Okay, so that's 57%. Let's give it a couple of decimals. So 56.51%. Let's see if that's right. All right, so that was good. That's a relief. Okay, so the next one, they're asking you to calculate the average of T-bills, bonds, and large company stocks for a certain period of time. And they say on the left side, click the spreadsheet learning aid to see table 8.1 year by year returns. Well, I don't know about you, but on my sheet, it's on the right side. So you go to question help, then you go to spreadsheet. You wait for the silly thing. It's a pop-up, so you might have a problem with your pop-ups. Then you can open the thing. All right, so here we are. We now have a new, multiple new tables. I don't know what that was about, but we have what we need. So I'm going to put this over on the right-hand side. I'm going to close this other pop-up. I don't know what that's about. Make it big enough for you to see what I'm doing. And so they are asking for the average from 1989 to 1998. So I tell you what, let's just calculate all of these. Calculate all of these right over here. So the average, we'll take the headers, put them there, make them a little wider so we can see what we're doing. I swear I spent half my life formatting spreadsheets. So now all you got to do is calculate the average. So you go equals average. Make sure you're picking the right year. So we got 89 through 98. 89, 98. Close the paren. There it is. 5.38%. Okay, now that we know that it's working right, again, all you have to do is just copy that formula over and you'll get the rest of the answers. Long-term government bonds, it was 12.06%. And large cap stocks was 20.2%. 0.02, I'm sorry. And small cap stocks was 14, but they don't ask you that. So which had the highest average return was large cap stocks. So there it is. Okay, and I think I'm going to end this video here, and we'll move on to the probably 2 more videos for the rest of the homework.